Hello everybody, my name is Shannon Kelly and I am here on Tabletopia today to show you a gameplay demo of Darkly Dreaming. This is a press your luck dice rolling game of insomniacs and nightmares. So without further ado, here's how you play. You can see in front of us we have our Dreamer card. This is where you collect all of the dice that you draw from the bag, which you can see in the middle. Now inside there are 80 dice of 4 different colors. At the bottom of our card is a marker that we use to keep track of how many dice we roll each turn, and on the left is a rules summary card which lists out the turn order. On the opposite side of that, you can see a list of what each of the faces on all the dice types are, as well as what those dice do when you roll them. So, to start a turn, the first thing that we do is draw dreams equal to our sleep track, in this case 3. On Tabletopia, you can actually use the mouse wheel to take, or you can right click and grab them that way. So, what we've ended up with is a Dream of the Primeval Fear and 2 Dreams of the Depths. Now, the Dreams of the Depths will literally drown you in dice if you let them, whereas the Dreams of Primeval Fear can kill you. So I don't particularly want to die on my first turn. I'm going to put that back in the bag. You have to put 2 back in the bag, so any of these will do. And then you can either right click to roll or you can press R. Okay, so because I have rolled a Shadow of the Depths, see that there, I have to draw 1 dream from the bag, roll it, and apply it immediately. So take that out, roll it, and I ended up with an exhaust. So, once I've applied all of the faces, then I get the choice whether I'm going to sleep or stay awake. If I stay awake, I move my sleep track up to 5, and I keep going with my turn, this time taking 5 dice, putting 2 back. If I go to sleep, however, then I would move this sleep track back down to 3 if it were higher, and I'd get rid of the rightmost exhaust dice back to the bag. It's the first turn, and I'm feeling a bit risky, so let's keep going. Move this up to 5, draw 5, and put 2 back. I'm going to roll all of those. You can hold down Shift to select multiple dice at once in Tabletopia, and they are all shadows. So, I mean, chances of rolling the shadows on the depths, fair enough. On the betrayal dice, though, that's just bad luck. So the way you apply it is always on the left-hand side from top to bottom, and then on the right-hand side from top to bottom. So we got nothing on the left, no points yet. So we put this one down first, makes us take this from the bag, roll it, and apply it. Well, we got a hunt, so that's on the way to killing us. This one goes down next, which makes us draw another one, roll it, and apply it straight away. Now what happens when you put down a Shadow of Primeval Fear is you may take any dream with an eye face that is on your card and move it to your hunt row. Now I have one there already, but in a 2-player game, since you need 4 of these shadows to become a nightmare, I don't quite want to become one yet, so I'm going to take this one and move it over here. And the last thing we do is take this dice, place it down, and when a dice of betrayal shows up, the player to your left picks a dream that's on your card, and you have to re-roll that and apply it straight away. So I think what they're going to do is pick this red one, because, pick this red one, because it might kill us, and it actually rolled a point, so that was good for us. Okay. I think that's pretty good, or pretty bad in this case, for a first turn, so I'm going to go to sleep, move this back down to 3, chuck this exhaust back into the bag, and let the next player go. I'm only going to run through it as a 2-player game at the moment, which means that you fill up this last row to become a nightmare. In a 3 or a 4-player game, it's much easier to become a nightmare, and that's how it goes. So 3 come out of the bag. You know what? green is a pretty good way to start. Shadows of Betrayal don't really do anything if you roll them as your first dice, so it's a pretty solid beginning. Going up to 5. Now, these yellow ones are more likely to put you to sleep. So because there is one in the exhaust row already, I'm going to chuck both of those back in the bag. Alright, so player 2 has somehow managed to roll these anyways. They must have really wanted the exhaust points. So those go down, and the 2-pointer goes down. Now the red will probably kill you, as you can see from over there, but it is the only dice in the game that has a 2-pointer on it. Okay, so if you fill up your exhaust row, you miss your next turn. So this turn ends immediately. That was a short and quick one. Goes over to the next player, or the first player. Starts their turn again. Got that 2-pointer just like the other player, and is gonna push just a little bit. So let's put that back in, and risking the red one, let's go with these ones. Alright, 2 more points for player 1. And this Shadow of Cages. What would normally happen with the Shadow of Cages is that you spin your leftmost exhaust dream that is in your exhaust row to an eye face, and you don't move it. Now there's nothing there, so that actually does nothing. You know what? Probably going to end the turn there. That goes back there. If there had been anything in the exhaust row, you'd move 1 back. And ending the turn. Coming back to player 2. Player 2's missing their next turn because their exhaust row is full, and they're going to put, because they missed their turn, all of their exhaust back in. Now if this had been an eye, for instance, they'd rolled a yellow eye and that would have turned this one to an eye, it would not go back in the bag. The only way you can get rid of those is by ending your turn early. However, since it was a moon, it goes back in, and with the turn over, it comes back to player 1, who's definitely in the lead, but not by much, only 3 points there, and the rest of their card is pretty full. So, 3. The green ones, the green are more likely to roll points, as you can see. There are 3 ones on them. However, these 2 shadows would let the next player re-roll this 2, and we don't want that. So, I'm going to risk this red dice. And it's another 2. Going well. Going up to 5. And that's not the best thing that could have come out, because those blues are probably going to end up making this player into a nightmare. So trying to mitigate that as much as possible and roll those dice. And it has. However, it has put them in a very awkward position in that they have only 1 more of these needed to kill them. So it's a bit of a worry. If I did move up to 7 here, then I'd have to roll 5 dice. I might end up grabbing enough reds that the chances of being killed are high. So I'm just going to move it back to 3. Don't really need to push my luck on this one since I have so many points. And moving back to the second player's turn. Drawing 3 dice. In this case, probably want the green one out of there to stop that 2 being rolled. And another point. Go up to 5 points. Chuck both the greens back in. Roll those. And in general, that has gone pretty well. You know what? Well enough to risk 7. Now it's always a bit risky because these can get out of control very quickly. but because there's so few dreams on this player's card, it does seem worth it. Alright, maybe dropping a blue dice back in the bag. Okay, so another 2 points, going well. One of the exhaust, and applying from top to bottom. So we've got 2 more cages. When the first one goes down, it turns this into an eye, and one of those. Which is going to be moving this one up here, using its effect. Okay, is it worth going? You know what? Why not? Pushing to 9 is always incredibly risky, but you never know when it pays off really well. So with 4 greens, we're going to be re-rolling at least one of those 2s, I imagine. So we'll try and mitigate that. Roll those, and we ended up with no re-rolls, a whole bunch of points, but also a whole lot of exhaust. Player 2 does not seem unfamiliar with missing their turn. Now if you run out of space, just drop it down next to the row. Okay, so that's player 2. They are forced to fall asleep, however they are on 11 points, and it comes back to the first player again. Taking 3 dice from the bag, and now this is risky because they can always draw too many red ones, and they really don't want to die. So got to put this one back in, otherwise the other player could make them reroll a red dice. And gonna put the blue one back in as well. Oh, so it's an exhaust. Now they're behind on points, so this player does actually need to push their luck just a little bit to catch up. That one back in, and blue one as well. Alright, so we've got a point there. The blue one goes down first. So draw, roll, and place. And this one goes down, which forces this to become an eye. You know what? Probably a good time to end a turn. Go back to 3. Put this one back in the bag, so you always take the right hand one, and you always turn the left hand one into an eye. So the eyes are the last to be removed, and the first to be added. Alright, but feeling pretty safe to end the turn there, because this player is missing their turn. Now you put back all of the exhaust faces, but you leave the eyes. Makes it easier and easier to become to fall asleep. And if they're all eyes, then you never wake up and you die. Okay, first player, once again, takes 3. Really doesn't want to roll those, but the green one is not a good one either. And that is another moon. And unfortunately, that's probably just going to be their turn. Put that back in the bag, leave that at 3, and come back to player 2. Player 2 has no blue eyes here, so they're feeling pretty safe to roll one of those. Another point. Move this up to 5. Drop that one back in, and this one back in. Why not? Roll the 3 of those. And there we go. So, now every time one of these primeval dice goes down, you can take another primeval dice and move it up here. However, this player's ahead in points, and they want to become the Nightmare. So they put all of those down. Now because they're full up there, they take the Nightmare of Primeval Fear card. What this does for them is, when any dreamer, so that's just player 1 now, rolls an eye or a tooth on a red dice, then player 2 can take it as a point. Then player 2 will be able to take any of these eyes and move it up to the hunt row. So not good for player 1, because it basically means that if they roll an eye or a tooth on any red dice now, they're going to die instantly. So good move on player 2's part. Now because they're a nightmare, they also put every dice except for their points back in the bag, which in this case increases the number of red dice that are in the bag. Good for them, and bad for the other player. So that comes back there, although the nightmare never really uses these on their turn anymore. And if player 1 survives, then I'll show you what a nightmare turn looks like. Player 1 is not looking happy. They are going to put those back in the bag, roll this one, take it as a point, and they are going to end their turn and get rid of this eye. Okay, on a nightmare player's turn, all they do is take 2 dice from the bag, pick one of those, give it to a dreamer player, and the dreamer must re-roll it. In this case, it's come up as an eye. The dreamer has to apply that eye, which means the next player along gets to make them re-roll a dice, which in this case is going to be one of their 2 pointers. It's come up as a red eye, and because of that, because of this card, they've drawn a red eye, gets taken as a point, and they can activate the Nightmare card ability, choose one eye on the Dreamer's card, and move it to a hunt space on their card. They are going to pick this blue eye, move it up to the hunt space, and on player 1's turn, technically it doesn't happen just yet, but they are going to draw 3 from the bag, put 2 back in, roll this last one, it's an eye, makes them do another one, it's another eye, and unfortunately, because this happens here before this happens, player 1 dies. When a player dies, they take every dice that's on their sheet, they put it back in the bag, and they are out of the game. Thus leaving player 2, the only player left in the game, even though they're a nightmare, with the most points, and really the only points, and the winner. Alright, so thanks for watching the gameplay demo of Darkly Dreaming. If you have any questions, please just leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, if you're interested in hearing more, you can like and subscribe, or go to our website at www.foxtailgames.com to sign up for our mailing list and find out information about Darkly Dreaming when it comes up. Thanks a lot. Bye.